That was
All
so
right.
funny.
I'm recording. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, Nolar here. Back with Dokkan. And then just in case you didn't know, this is going to apply to both JP and Global. But first and foremost, I want to give out a kind of disclaimer that there might be some issues coming up. I've got a fire coming down the hill. It might actually hit my house. So if you don't see videos from me in a couple days, you'll know I had to evacuate. So just throwing that out there. Just in case that happens. But anyways, moving on, we're going to be talking about Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash, which, you know, for most people, it's just Battlefield 2.0. So we'll talk all about Battlefield, its issues, what we like, what we don't like about it. And I'm not alone. I am joined by both Hydros and Gale. Guys, say hello.
Hello.
Not all at once.
It is
Not all at once.
It is I, Gil. Glad to be here.
All right, and then
I'm ready
Hydros.
for the Virtual Dokkan Clash Ultimate, Battlefield treasure trove experience of a lifetime. I don't even know why they decided to make the name worse, but yeah.
All right, so before we get right in, let's talk a little history, give a little context, okay? So the first Battlefield, I don't think they show it here. Actually, that's right. First Battlefield was February of 2018. Does that sound right?
Give or take,
No.
it should be right. I think it was like right around the time JP had their second anniversary.
Yeah, the first version.
It was
Yeah.
there for like about a month or two, and then it just vanished into thin air. I think it was.
Well, what happened was it was a beta. So yeah, I remember now. It was right after the second year, but second year was 2017. So this what you see on the screen right here, February 2018, was when they brought out the first version of Battlefield 2.0. What we're talking about is Battlefield 1.0, and that was a very different game mode compared to what it was today. So the biggest reason people had to play it in the beginning for the beta was these medals right here. So these medals right here were used, I'm just going to pull it up here, to awaken, right, I remember, Gohan to LR, and then the Ginyu from his TUR2 and LR. So that was the first reason we had it, because they were like, okay, we're gonna put a beta out with a brand new mode, and this mode's gonna have, well, I'll explain it. It's basically like kind of like tower defense in a way. I mean, you had enemies coming at you from across the screen from 3 different lanes, top, middle, and bottom lane, and you were supposed to put, you had like 120 cards from different varying typings, because every typing had a certain job. Like I think like physical or strength. One of them was like a tank, so they took a little more damage, and then the other ones were like faster, like they were visibly faster going up across the screen. You had like different roles to play, so your team compositions were all one RNG, because the cards they gave you kind of varied. So you like drop the unit in one of the lanes. Hopefully you're like going across the lane and trying to break the shield. And whatever units that made it across the broken shield, if you beat that stage, were the units you could use to actually fight, like what we know, like a bubble popper, where you go in, you pick your team. It's like, okay, so I've got this random physical Broly, but then I have like all STR units and int units, so I can't run physical Broly as lead. I got to run all these other ones. So you had to like really manage your team composition differently. And sometimes you couldn't beat the boss because the cards that got through were pretty garbage and didn't work together. Like you had a hit, and then you had some hybrid Saiyans, and they just don't link together. So
I put a screenshot of the original in chat for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll throw this in there. But like, yeah, this was a very different game mode, and this was cool because this was like 2.5 years in the game. There's something so different. We're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Except it was a beta, so they only, how long did they run it? Like a month, I think, something like that.
Give or take around that, yeah.
Yeah, and people didn't like it because once you didn't make it through the shield portion breakthrough, you lost, and then you had to reset the next week or something like that. Like it was a weekly run, and people didn't like it because the rewards were a little too. You had to get to the higher end to get the rewards in order to do it. So like to get an LR Ginyu, the physical one, which we now can get easily, back then it was like super rare to get one, if not a dupe. right? And then you have to get the medals to awaken Gohan. So like when they got rid of the beta, there was, if you didn't manage to get the medals to awaken the Gohan, you had no way to awaken him to an LR. So some people kept the TUR for months before they could, awaken it, and that's kind of sucked. Gail, you weren't playing during Battlefield 1.0, were you?
No, and I was mainly a global main back then. I kind of started Dokkan around that time technically, but yeah, I wasn't on the JP version anyway. So my experiences with Battlefield 1.0 are just word of mouth, absolutely, from people I've heard talk about it. I remember somebody made a video very recently, I think about a couple of months ago, discussing Battlefield 1.0. But yeah, beyond that, I have no information regarding it, unfortunately.
Okay. Idris, what do you remember?
I think I started JP right like after they did that, so I had just missed the actual Battlefield, and then it never came back until the revision for 2.0. So yeah, I never actually got to play it, but I have seen people play it, and I thought it was a really cool concept compared to the new one. I wish they'd bring it back, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I played a lot of gacha games. This Battlefield 2.0 feels much more like an endless tower mode, although it's not endless per se, but that's how the setup feels like. I'm sure you understand what I mean, Gale, right? By an endless tower mode.
Yeah, no, it does remind me kind of like Epic 7's Labyrinth in a form or fashion. Or no, not necessarily their Labyrinth. They have this tower system where you go floor to floor to floor to floor, and literally, like, I think you'd have to halt at like level 50 and then you carry on. Kind of reminds me of that, but not necessarily the same, because as you mentioned, there is an end to Battlefield, unfortunately, which we can talk about in terms of how they can improve it later on. But yeah, that's it. Reminds you very much. It's very similar in that fashion.
Yeah, and the point of what I mean by endless tower mode is just like literally floor 1, 2, 3, 4. You go all the way. All it is in a traditional RPG, because Dokkan's not really a traditional RPG, which is why it has an end in Battlefield as opposed to an endless one. The endless ones are literally the enemies just get progressively stronger, and you're supposed to get progressively stronger to fight them, right? So if you're stuck at floor 50, well, beef up your box, beef up your units, and then you can take 50 and then go to 51, 2, or whatever. Here, it's literally the requirements, as you see, you got to be rank 150, and you got to have at least 112 SSR or URs, right? Something like that.
It's 112 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is that if you can't beef up your units midway through, because you have to quit. You can't change your units midway through. You're stuck with your 112 until you finish or lose.
Yeah. One or the other.
Lose all your units.
For a lot of people who are just starting out and whatnot, it's a lot of trial and error and just taking like a collective set of units and then hoping they can get through as far as they can, see where they kind of get halted or get blocked by the difficulty, and then restart all over again, which is a lot of pain and a lot of time.
But luckily you don't have to waste stamina or act to actually go in. But yeah, the downside is if you're early on, it's a lot of trial and error, and you're superbly at the mercy of RNG. Because if you get supered in that first slot and you don't have the right unit on the first turn, then whatever. Can't do anything about it. You got to restart. So Battlefield's interesting because, I mean, for me, when I play it, I just use mono teams. I don't ever use the category teams. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, I stick to mono teams, and that's something I hope they kind of change. I have some ideas for it, but yeah, mono teams is the best way to go about it, because there's no like change in typings at all throughout the fight you do with that singular enemy. So usually you take your 120 leads and your support leads and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I use mono. I use mono as well. In some cases, I'll use a category just because some of my better units will focus better on the category. But majority of the time, I'm just focusing mono, and it pretty much can clear it any time the battlefield comes back usually.
Yeah, I think the only time I've used a category lead, I guess, is if I'm using my Superin team, and that's because I'm using the GT trio as my lead, and the support Gohan as my secondary leader, and then just the rest of them filled by Dragon Ball Seeker units.
Got it. Yeah, that makes more sense. All right, so you get through Battlefield, so it resets once a month. The first 3 clears you do reward you varying rewards, and then it soft resets every week where you'll get more of these Battlefield memory currencies. So I think at the first clear gives you what, 150k Battlefield memories? Is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah.
Give or take, yeah. I want to say 125k maybe, but I could be very off on that as well, and it's actually 150. It's somewhere between 100 to 150, I'm pretty sure, because you get a lot for one whole the first clear you do.
Yeah, and the reason why the soft resets, so like the first week it comes out, sure, you get the 100, 150k, whatever it is. And every week, every clear is 1, 2, and 3k each like stages. So that's 6k per week. So the soft resets give you 18k, and then the first clear of the week gives you, or of the month gives you about, let's say it's 150. I don't really remember. So we'll go to the shop here. So there's a lot of things you can buy with the Battlefield memory. So in the beginning, like when they first did the beta, the most valuable thing clearly was the medals to awaken. Here, the Ultimate Clash medal to awaken the Cell. Well, not at the time the Cell, the physical Ginyu, as well as the Int Gohan, the very first LR. But now they've added a bunch of different things to it. Orbs are really scarce. Of course, this is right when the potential system dropped, so everyone was like scrounging up for orbs. So I bought a lot of orbs back then. But trading items and stuff like that, this is what you get. But they started to make exclusive units for that mode. Makes sense. Gives people an incentive to go in and grind the mode every week, every month, so you can have currencies to do it. Any thoughts about the shop itself? Like any issues you might have with it, or is it pretty good? Let me know.
I think the main issue we all have is the LRs keep going up in price, and that is the most annoying part of it, especially because they don't update the amount of gems that you get. Granted, I know that you're supposed to go and do it weekly. You only get like 10k a week at
6K.
that, I think.
6k.
6k.
That's it.
6K. Oh, not even. Okay, that was what's worse actually. so it's like, if they keep increasing it, we're gonna get to basically 1 million Battlefield gems, and if they don't at least increase it, we're gonna be sitting here for months on end just trying to get one copy of this unit. Especially if they're really good. They're some like the Frieza and King Cold. It's not a bad unit, but with time, most people aren't gonna have this unit unless they keep grinding and have if they just want to rainbow all these units, you're gonna run out of Battlefield gems. And if you want orbs, you're gonna prioritize the orbs over the LR, and it's all sorts of things. So I think they need to actually increase the amount of gems that you're actually getting, or at least increase the weekly at least to maybe like 50k or something a week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. I think the costs definitely going up is a huge factor in terms of something they need to change. Like mentioned, the prices are going up and up. It's now 330k for Babidi and Dabura, and I doubt I'm even done with Oob. I'm not even done with Oob. Talon would be very disappointed in me with that, but but no, on top of that, I do believe also one more thing that should be done as well, in my opinion, is maybe some parts of the shop should reset, because a lot of the times, once you're done with, say, the units, somehow, let's say you're done with the units, there's not much else that you can get in the shop apart from the ultimate medal. So something like resetting the Elder Kais whenever they do the whole fresh reset. So for example, when they shifted from say Zamasu to Jiren, they could have reset the shop and added back say the Elder Kais, the orbs and stuff like that. I do hope they do that in the future, because I do believe it would be nice to get some scarce resources from the Battlefield shop, because everybody, not everybody might be able to get the LRs, but they might be able to get some amount of gems that they want to buy more Kais or more orbs and stuff like that. So things like that, a shop reset would be nice, but the main problem with the shop right now is just the tremendous cost of the LRs.
And the amount of gems that you get is just, you can get, I think it's 300k in total like maybe I think maybe 250 to 300k at best every time Battlefield releases. So that's 300k a month. That's literally just one Fruit Mecha Freeze and King Cold, and that's it. That's all you can get. And honestly, the Captain Ginyu, the physical one, I like how they made him an SSR and then TUR, and then you can get an LR. I kind of liked how they did that versus just slapping an LR in there and then here you go. I kind of wish they did it more like that, because the Ginyu, if we had more copies, you could have ran the Fizz Ginyu and his LR form, because I think it's LR Ginyu Force and then LR, and then it's just Ginyu for the TUR. That would have been cool if we could get more copies. That'd have been a TUR Ginyu we could have had as well that was free, and so on and so forth, instead of just having the 5 copies. Maybe make a limited of 10 copies. That'd be maybe 11. Was it? You need 5. Yeah,
5 to Rainbow.
10 be fair.
10, yeah.
10 be fair. You know, kind of like how they did Vegito Blue. They release it over time, but keep it the same cost as well as the gems. That's 38,000 gems only for all 5 copies. And then you go up to 120, 150, 250, 300, 330. Next it's going to be 350. It's like, please stop.
Yeah, so here's a couple of my issues with the Battlefield shop. And the mode is okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's okay. The shop, though, the issue I have is, like what you guys said, is the currency, the economy of it. We just don't get enough. Now, I'm not expecting to rainbow a unit in the first month. You know, obviously that's not the point. But if you're making me wait 2 months to get a copy, that's pretty garbage. If that makes any sense. Like, that's bad. Like, I should be able to get 1 copy within a month to a month and a half. You know, I don't need it right away, but I'm just saying, like, if I have to wait 4 months to get, or 5 months to get an LR, if I get once a month, that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But the fact that it's gonna take me almost 10 to 11 months, almost a year, to rainbow one of these units, pretty bad. And then plus right now you can only get this unit 3 times. Like, I don't know what they're thinking.
Release it over time.
Yeah, they slowly release the extra dupes because they're like, oh well, yeah, by the rate they get it, they should be able to get the extra copies here and there. But like Global, you can talk to Galeriot, she's been waiting forever for the last copy. They dropped 4 in the first one, and he saved all his gems, and now he's like, when's the last one coming? So, I just have an issue. Yeah, Galeriot himself. Holy crap. Yeah, so he's just waiting forever to get this. So, yeah, Galeriot, since you're here, why don't you give us your little thoughts on the Battlefield economy?
The economy is really bad. I feel like it's not a bad thing that they made it so that you can't instantly max everything out.
Yeah.
But for the unit specifically, I feel like there should be a path that you're offered to where you can at least farm the gems past just the first run. Like maybe you do, I don't know. Maybe you finish a run and you get a certain amount of gems every single time. The only problem I see with that is it would, obviously botting would affect that a lot. But I think with safety net now, that's not really as big of an issue anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
So maybe, so maybe like
they don't talk about this anymore.
so maybe they do a thing where, I don't know, like every time you complete a full run of Battlefield, you get a certain amount of gems, so that at least if you want to farm for the units, you can have that option, right? If you want to play a lot and you want to bust your ass to get the currency that you need, that it's an option for you. But as it stands right now, it's literally not possible to rainbow everything because it's just they don't give enough stuff for you. And there's also a lot of other good rewards in there as well. Like there's stamina, there's box space, like there's a lot of good stuff in there. So no one's ever going to be able to buy all that stuff if you're focused on the units.
Right. I feel like the coins, like the awakening medals, not coins, but the awakening medals, just, I mean, you can farm literally all of these, so I don't even know why they're in here. I mean, I guess for easy, I guess they're easy to get if you just want to just throw a couple Battlefield gems at them. But at the same time, it's like, well, you can really, I mean, it's not hard to farm them at the same time. Also, the fact that the new SSR Krillin and 18 are more expensive than the LR Ginyu physical is stupid. And not even just okay, it's more expensive. 1 copy of Krillin is near twice, actually it is twice the amount Ginyu is, and that's stupid. Like an LR should at least be the reverse for an LR in my opinion, if anything. But yeah, in terms of giving more Battlefield gems, let us spend other currencies on just maybe like limited time, like even Super Battle Road. Let us, if you don't want to buy Kais with the little gem things you get from that, let us buy like 10,000 or 100,000 gems per like one or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. And it's limited, obviously, because Super Battle Road and SBR and ESBR don't come back that often, or add new stages like often either. So there's the ability to maybe get it through that, or just buy currency that way. But they need to at least increase the currency or allow you to farm it more frequently within the battlefield itself.
Gail, any like suggestions on how to fix the economy?
Probably like I would probably agree with what Goresh said. Farming it pretty much is the best way to go about it if they don't want to make it out. I mean, it is literally called battlefield memory, so yeah, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it probably would be, I mean, for me, it's like they only have 3 levels. Why not add more? Like, let us, at this point, we've kind of experienced Battlefield being the samey 112 characters, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should have, like, sort of like, I don't know, maybe an extra difficulty. So once you're done with this base level difficulty of 112 characters, these 3 levels, let us progress to a second difficulty, or a level 2, shall we say, and you bring in, say, 200 characters or something like that, and then boom, you've got 5 levels to go through, and that's an additional source of battlefield memory that'll be a lot more, arguably, because you're doing a higher difficulty. That is one way to solve it. But yeah, like Goresh and Hydra said, there those other alternative ways are also good ways to get more battlefield memory.
So basically, like an easy A. Literally like an easy A.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I like that concept. That'd be a really good one. Like, you go through the characters, or maybe even just not even facing the same characters at a high difficulty, make it level 2, like all different characters.
Yeah, exactly.
At a higher difficulty. That would be really cool. Maybe make it to where we actually fight the LR characters. That'd be pretty fun.
Maybe, yeah. Again, it's just concepts. There's so many ways you can change Battlefield drastically, and it's not just obviously difficulty wise, but like in terms of just output, in terms of what we're getting for Battlefield memory, and whatever else there is in terms of the rewards.
Okay. All right. Here's my thought on how they could fix this. So they are adamant on like a limited run. So similar to Chain Battle, you could make it so that in every soft reset every week, you could only do 3 more runs. You just got to pay a Dragonstone to do it. I don't see there's an issue with that. Maybe output, instead of 6K a week, you can go to 10 or 12, whatever. But the more interesting concept I had in my head is like the Arc Knight's contingency contract, where you create the difficulty and then control the rewards if you manage to beat it. So if you guys aren't aware, the way that system works is there's like 12 parameters or 15 parameters, whatever it is, and you select, okay, well, the boss or all enemies have another 50% HP. I reduce damage by 20%. But then the harder you make it on yourself, the better the rewards. Just like a sliding scale of difficulty, but you can kind of choose the output. Oh, I can't stun the boss, so that gives me an extra 1.2 times the gems. I can't seal the boss, that'll give me an extra 1.4 times the gems. You know, stuff like that. So if I can't use a mono team, has to have one of every typing, then that could increase it by 2 times. So
what about instead of that? Well, I mean, that's a good idea. Actually, it reminds me a lot about Path of Exile, but that's getting off topic. What if instead of that, they had a system where as long as you fulfilled certain objectives, you get extra rewards? So like you did more than 2 million damage in one hit. Here's some extra gems. Or you didn't take, you took under 20% of your health in this run. Here's an extra, X amount of gems. So like other submissions, kind of like how Legends actually does the their missions for
the
content.
Clearing the content. Yeah. That's also a good incentive too, because that would incentivize you to keep going back on runs. So it's like, okay, well, first run you got to be above 50%, all right, and the second run you got to be below 30%. So you have to kind of manipulate the way you play to make sure you stay above 50 or go below 30 or whatever the parameters are. That's a good point too. So there are a lot of ways they can manipulate the gameplay and the structure, I guess we should say, so they can output more economy of Battlefield memory gems that should be good for you to buy all the units that you need or any items. So, alrighty. Well, just we're here to talk about Battlefield. Thanks for everyone here to join in. So, Gail, thank you for being here. Hydros, and then Garesh for the surprise show-in. So, anything you guys want to say about Battlefield before we close out?
It has potential. They can change it drastically, like I mentioned. Again, it might be for a topic for another day. Hopefully they fix it down the line, because at this point it's the same thing, and we can't even buy a lot of the LRs sometimes.
Yep. I just
rest in peace, Battle. I was just gonna say rest in peace, Battlefield 1.0.
I know.
I kind of wish they would bring back the concept of Battlefield 1.0 and something else, maybe, if they wanted, maybe, because that idea was actually pretty fun. It was a lot different. It's a different mechanic to the game. You know how they tried to do a chain battle. At least Battlefield was, at least you could actually do something in it versus just watching the screen play around for like 3 seconds and be done. And yeah, I just let me farm more gems, please. Just let me farm it. Even if I have to go through hell and back to get more gems, just let me do it.
Look, if you've been through link leveling, you know it's not going to be that bad, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If nothing is as bad as link levels.
I mean, you say that. Watch Akatsuki pull out something
Yeah.
crazy.
Just to wrap it up, Battlefield 1.0,
Oh God.
they let you, like, there was a reason to bring SR units, if I remember, because, well, one, it was based around like how strong your unit was, your card was on the potential system, and this again was released right when potential system was released, so you didn't have rainbow units. So it's like, oh, I would rather take this SR card that's SA10 than this random TUR that's like SA5 of 10, you know? So there was a reason to bring SR units into the Battlefield 1.0. And so I just want Akatsuki to make us a mode where my collection actually matters. And at the time, Battlefield 1.0, was an attempt at that. And unfortunately, they scrapped it. So anyways, guys, thanks for being here, having a discussion with Battlefield. You guys let us know in the comments below, what do you think about it? What do you think needs to be changed? What kind of ways can they do it? Or are you happy with the state of Battlefield? Or as they call it, the Ultimate Clash, Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. So, on behalf of myself, Garesh, Gale, and Hydros, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you all next time. We're out.